Hey, landscapers and contractors, I want to explain one of the most important ratios in business. If you want to know how much you can pay to buy a customer and how much money you should make relative to what you paid to acquire a customer, watch this video. So today what we're going to talk about is the LTV to CAC ratio, and that is the lifetime value relative to the cost to acquire a customer. Now, this ratio shows up in all kinds of businesses. It's always important to know this. I find that most contractors, landscapers that I work with, they actually don't know this. And today I'm going to shine some light on it so we know how to figure out exactly what it is. So to get the LTV, or the lifetime value of the customer, you want to take any kind of recurring revenue plugged into how long that customer typically stays with your business. Now, you may not know that because you may have customers that have stayed with you for the whole life of your business. But what you can look at is on any given month, how many customers have you lost that month? You had 10 customers at the beginning of the month, 9 at the end of the month, then you have a churn rate of 10% per month. And even though some customers may have stayed with you for the long term, you can kind of expect that you have a churn rate of 10% per month, or maybe you have a churn rate of 5% per year if you're doing really great. And really what we want to focus on is not exactly lifetime value, it's really a lifetime gross profit. So take out a cost of goods sold, and what you have left is lifetime gross profit. And for landscapers, it tends to be in the 40 to 55% range is lifetime gross profit. And the other part of this ratio is CAC, or cost to acquire a customer. Now, if you want to figure out what the cost to acquire a customer is, you can basically take all of the new customers that you got in the last year and divide that by all of your marketing spend for the last year. So if you spent $24,000 in marketing last year and you acquired 12 new customers, then the cost to acquire a customer is $2,000. So when we're taking a look at this ratio here, LTV divided by cost to acquire a customer. And like I say, it's really LTGP, right? So it's going to be lifetime gross profit. So we're really talking about lifetime gross profit here. That's the important number, because we do need to take out our cost of goods. So for instance, if a landscaper gets a new client for $200 a month, and that client stays for 4 years, we're going to expect to get $9,600 of lifetime value. If the gross profit of this customer is 50%, we're going to take times 50%, which equals $4,800. Okay, and this is your lifetime gross profit. So $4,800 is our lifetime gross profit. We've established that number. And when I'm taking a look at cost to acquire a customer, some teachers like Alex Hormozi tend to say that you can spend up to a third of the lifetime gross profit of a new client to acquire that client. I like to actually go with half of that. So I go with 1/6 of that. So if we divide this number by 6, it equals $800. And what this ratio gives you is the cost that you can spend to acquire that customer. And so in this case, in this example of a $200 client that stays for 4 years, we take half of that as a lifetime gross profit and then divide that by 6. We see that we can spend $800. We can spend up to $800 to acquire. And that's going to be all of your marketing costs, any type of management of the marketing. This is a great number to shoot for. And what you find when you figure out the CAC that you can spend to acquire a new customer, it really gives comfort in understanding the numbers of the business. And another thing that we can do with this, when we know that the cost to acquire a customer is typically around $800, that means that we need to have the top line revenues of that customer be $9,600 or beyond. So the $800 cost to acquire a customer prospect must pay $9,600, either recurring over time or one time. Typically, I like to get paid at the very beginning if possible. And if you can't get paid at the very beginning, that cash is obviously more dependable and you know you're going to get paid that amount. If your lifetime gross profit of a customer that costs $800 to acquire is less than $9,600, and say the lifetime gross profit is $8,000, or say the lifetime value of that customer is $8,000, making the lifetime gross profit $4,000, then this is not a good sign. This is bad. We want to make sure that we can figure out a way to upsell that client, cross-sell them, certainly get some referrals from them to lower the cost of acquiring the customer. We need to do something to strategize for getting paid more money from that customer. So if you're trying to figure out how much a customer needs to pay you relative to the cost to acquire that customer, or how much you can pay to acquire a customer relative to the amount they pay you over time, this is a great ratio to sort that out.